Salutations, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. V back with another casted game of Age of Empires 3. We're on Mongolia for a mid-level matchup. Oh, look at that alliteration. Ooh, somebody cool me down. We're only 20 seconds into the game. Let's go. I did not have a matchup this week that I was planning on doing, and none of the Discords that I usually frequent had any casted games that I was super interested in. So for the first time ever, I used the replay parser tool on the Free Food Party website. Shout out FFP, please sponsor me. And I found this game, which I don't know any of the players. These guys are kind of 1500-ish ELO, but I liked the civilization combo, so we are going to watch it together here today, and let's get into the player intros. On the west side of the map, in the color blue, playing as the Germans, we have Bleary Eyes. And going with the market start, which is what I'm seeing more and more German players of a lot of levels go for. And it's weird because I thought the trading post start was the strongest German play in the opening, but maybe some of you German mains out there can tell me if the market really is better. But on the east side of the map, playing in the color red as the Maltese, we have his opponent, Raincloud, also going with the market and the one house, but putting down a cheeky early trading post as well. So very nice for Raincloud, going to be getting that early XP, which he is undoubtedly going to use to send 3 settlers. A very standard Maltese deck and a pretty standard German deck. Oh, I had those switched around. Okay. Yes. All right. I had my decks mixed up. I cannot navigate the UI. But the trading post is going down. First card is coming in. It is going to be the 3 settler card. Meanwhile, Bleary Eyes sending the German equivalent, the 2 settler wagons, which is technically better because it's technically 4 villagers, both getting a couple of nice treasures. There are a lot of great options here on Mongolia. There are some quite beefy treasures that a good microwing hero can take. 140 coin down here. Now, the first thing I see about this map is this northern hemisphere, which I think is going to be a huge area of contention for both civs. I think both civs do like trading post play when they can get it, and I think this northern part certainly has a lot of resources, a lot of coin mines, which for Germany in the mid to late game, that is going to be huge, and it's got a lot of hunts as well, which for Malta is also pretty important. So there's going to be a lot of fighting in this northern hemisphere. That is my call of the day. We'll see if I am correct or not. Otherwise, very, very standard openings. Looks like Malta clicking up at 3 minutes and 3 seconds, and immediately sending all of the villagers to wood, no doubt going to be collecting the wood for Wignacore. And, wait, no, that's not Wignacore, German tongue. See, you see how much I know Malta? That's why I wanted to cast this game, because I don't see Malta very often. Even though it's a really interesting civ. I love the flavor of it. And I've been seeing some higher level play in the games I've watched, not the games I've casted. And I've actually been more impressed with Malta than I was when they first came out. Their bow pike play, it actually has me kind of intrigued. I almost want to try some bow pike rushes as Malta and see what they do. And then Germany's always been strong. They're always going to be strong. We have a yak exodus here. What's going on? Gentlemen. All right, they're back. I don't know why those 5 yaks were sent on a crusade, but they have returned. And a good thing, too, those Mongol scouts, the red one could have eaten up all of those yaks. 5 yaks, what a deal for Malta. Collecting that wood, sending the German tongue almost to the second age. Germany right behind him, although he does not have access to his second shipment yet, as you can see from the early Maltese trading post, getting its dividends already. But Germany going to be catching up with that pretty soon. 2 trading posts already going down in transition. So we're definitely going to be seeing this northern fight for the TP line. I am right, as always. I'm never right. Those of you who have watched more than one video know that most of my predictions are wrong. But 3 settler wagons immediately getting slammed down. Tell us your standard Germany without telling us your standard Germany, and the commandery wagon coming out at roughly the same time. We're seeing a pretty standard villager split here for Malta, keeping quite a few villagers on wood. He does have his food and wood upgrades, and now getting steel traps as well. Meanwhile, Bleary Eyes collecting XP on these 2 trading posts means he's going to get those shipments very, very fast, along with those juicy extra Ulan, making pikemen. Really? Okay. So he's going to start barracks, make pikemen, possibly going to siege down this TP line. That's an interesting play. I don't know if it's stronger than just typical German semi-FF. I feel like German semi-FF is stronger against Malta, for sure. But I don't know. Maybe he's expecting some sort of bow pike pressure from Malta. And he's got another shipment. What are we going to see? We are going to see another 2 settler wagons. I don't think you usually see that being sent as the 3rd card. You'd usually see 700 wood or 700 coin. So I definitely don't think an early age 3 transition is in the cards for Bleary, and he's going to be getting down that final trading post. Now that sucker is going to be hard to defend because it is so far away from his reinforcements, and it is very close to the Maltese base. Meanwhile, Raincloud did send Wignacore, and the Ulan raids have already begun. Gonna pick up 1 villager, and gonna lose 1 free Ulan for his trouble. That is definitely a worthwhile investment. 22 vills versus 21. We do have to remember that a lot of those German villagers are settler wagons. So Germany actually does have the villager advantage, and he's sieging this 1 trading post for Malta. So we could see Bleary take a very commanding TP line in the early game, and he's following up with 700 wood, so he's gonna have the resources to immediately slam down that trading post, and I'm guessing he's gonna be putting out some barracks as well, maybe gonna even get the upgrade and start getting some resources besides XP on 4 TPs. That is going to be so juicy. Meanwhile, Malta playing very, very standard Malta. He's got the commandery out front protecting his villagers, sending... Wait a minute. Wait, well, what is Germany sending? What the heck? Bleary has just sent Palatine settlements? I have never seen this card before. What in the world? Okay, so rugged German colonial houses provide much more population plus 2 Ulans. Oh my god! His population just shot up by 120. He went from 70 to 190 pop? That card is worth 1,000 wood? Ladies and gentlemen, I had no idea that was even a thing. I mean, I don't know how good it is. I mean, compared to 700 coin in an early age up, but we're gonna see our first fight here. Sentinels versus pikemen and Ulan. I actually think Sentinels will actually do fairly well in that fight, although there are some expos here as well. Gonna be trying to kite away, kill some of these Ulan. The problem with this is so many of those Ulan are free, so even if you kill quite a few of them, you're still kind of losing in terms of resource trade with Germany. But I'm still on that Palatine settlements card. So you're basically sending a card so that you never have to build another house. Well, okay, he has to build 1 more house, but I don't know. It's a good card, but is it really something you send before you send 700 coin? I don't know. That just feels a little bit awkward, but it's certainly really cool. I'm already liking this replay. Minutemen coming out, these expos getting a little bit too greedy hunting for villagers, and they are going to go down. So this push from Bleary was good. I think it was a little too ambitious. And I guess he's going to follow up with the 3rd age now. His macro is very, very weird. He's got 700 wood, which if you sent a card to build all your houses for you, why are you gathering so much wood? And then he's just not macroing at all for coins. So even if he gathers up the 700 coin, he's not going to be able to age. It just seems a little bit strange. He does have all 4 TPs now, but we see Raincloud already looking to contest, starting to build the dreaded depots, ladies and gentlemen. I love these things. In case you do not know Malta or you don't play Malta or against them very often, Depots are these buildings that the Maltese can build, and then they can self-destruct them at any time. And the depots will damage any units in the vicinity. So if you're having a fight around a depot and the Maltese player just hits the self-destruct button, you could lose a ton of units. They are really, really fun, but most experienced players know to avoid them. So they're kind of a way to just claim areas of the map and make sure that fights won't happen in those areas. But we're seeing an outpost go down here for Raincloud. I definitely think he wants to contest this northern trading line, especially now that it's been upgraded with Trade Cart. He does not want to let Bleary have this all to himself, especially when he reaches the 3rd age, which he now is queued up for the 3rd age. Raincloud has now sent Spice Trade and Silversmith. What in the world? I'm curious about both of these players' card order. I mean, those are 2 good cards, but sending them before 700 coin? I mean, even 8 crossbow at this point would probably be more useful. Yeah, that's just strange. But I like it. I like the strangeness. I like that we're not seeing just typical standard play. And that 1 trading post is going to go down. There is a lot of siege in this Maltese army. But it has me worried because Bleary is now going to be in age 3. He's going to have access to... Oh, he doesn't have the big 4. He's got 9 Ulan, 8 Ulan, but no 8 Ulan, 7 Skirm. Sorry, he has 9 Ulan, 8 Skirm, no 7 Skirm, 8 Ulan. Wow, and instead he has Royal Mint, 6 War Wagons, or 3 War Wagons. Okay, that's good. I mean, his deck isn't bad, it's just so different. I don't know, you guys can comment below. I am not a Maltese player or a German player. But speaking of Maltese, we're going to see another trading post go down. So the one thing that Raincloud is taking advantage of here is the timing, right? He sees that Bleary has transitioned into age 3. He knows he's not going to have a really big army yet, so he's using that time to take at least half of this trading line away, which I think is smart. Meanwhile, Bleary also playing this pretty smart, getting a nice army of Ulan and Doppelsonders together. That's interesting. Wait, what's happening here? Oh, is he moving all of his units? Oh, all of these units are about to pop out. There they are, ladies and gentlemen. I love this. So another thing that the Maltese can do is they can send their units into the commandery and then send them, literally teleport all the way across the map onto the other side and just completely blindsided Bleary. Gonna attack all of these villagers on the coin mine and kill a substantial number of them, including a settler wagon. And that was such a good pickup by Raincloud. And now he's sending advanced arsenal, which, I mean, does he even have an arsenal? Okay, advanced arsenal, doesn't have an arsenal yet. Makes sense. Just continuing to go into sentinels, which I don't think is going to be viable now that Germany has such a big number of war wagons and skirmishers out. Certainly going to be good against these Ulan. More sentinels coming out. And I do like that move though. That was such a baller pop right there. He now has 36 vills compared to only 28 for Germany. That is still counting settler wagons, of course, so it's probably a little bit closer. But ooh, speaking of settler wagons, is Raincloud gonna lose one? Pop him in. Oh, he had 2 places he could have gone, but he chose death. How unfortunate. And the game of map control is becoming quite interesting. Look at Raincloud. He's building a wall of depots here. He's basically saying, hey man, if you want to fight me for the north, I will blow you up. He's going to continue using these small pockets of sentinels to siege some of these TP lines. I really like what Raincloud's doing here. I like that he's not trying to engage Bleary directly yet. I think he knows that his forces cannot take on the age 3 units of Bleary, but Bleary is going to keep sending those powerful shipments. 9 Ulan on the way now, followed by Royal Mint. Don't agree with that one, but okay. The thing I don't agree with is it's just going to make you run through your coin mines faster, and until you've gotten enough of the map to eat through coin mines that fast, it's almost more of a hindrance than a help. I would much rather see something like a fort or mercenaries, or even 1,000 coin, I think would be more useful at this point. But hey, what do I know? Both these players are a higher level than me. And we're going to see some aggression here from Germany, but I'm surprised he's not even trying to defend this trading post line. Now, granted, these depots here do pose a little bit of an obstacle, but you can get around them. And not even trying to take back these TPs at all, I think might be a mistake. Even researching amalgamation, he is going to eat through his coin so stupidly fast. He does have 2 town centers down now, so he's going to be able to catch up on villagers relatively quickly. Still just 1 town center for Raincloud, but he now has 2 out of the 4 trading posts. Going to get a 3rd one down shortly. More outpost wagons coming out, more depots. And look at that, immediately rushing for the depot line. He wants to make sure that he does not lose these H2 units. And it seems to me like he is macroing for an age up himself. He has the food. Now he just needs the coin, and he will very shortly. But there is a pretty scary German army here. We have veteran Ulan, veteran Skirm, and veteran war wagons. And they could certainly crush this army of sentinels if they engage, which right now they're just trying to secure their coin mines. But I love this style from Raincloud. He's being so elusive, but he's getting so much done at the same time. He's not just hunkering down in his base. But Bleary also being active with his army, not just sitting around and waiting for his opponent to catch up to him. We're going to see a little bit of a sentinel raid here. Ladies and gentlemen, look at that. He's just looking for these coin mines. He knows that Bleary is going to be devouring this coin. So as long as you're cycling your units past those mines, you're bound to get a couple of bill kills. Going to pick up 1, maybe 2, yes, maybe 3. No, just going to go with those 2 bills. It is now 37-41 in favor of Malta. Even going to try to siege this last remaining TP, but Germany is not going to let that happen. And more depots going up. Now, these do cost resources, so it's not like they're free. They're not just easily spammable. But Germany's got to be careful here. Oh, look at this. Raincloud's trying to get a fight. He's now in H3, and the depot has been triggered. Bleary, get away. He's retreating now. Oh, he took a little bit of damage on his skirmishers, but that could have been so much worse. Meanwhile, we are seeing continued pressure from these sentinels. Such good work here from Raincloud, keeping his units active all over the map, and he's basically locked down a good 3/4 of the map. I mean, I don't know how you push into this many depots and outposts. It's going to be very, very tough for Germany, simply because there's very little siege in this German army, right? Because skirmishers, Ulans, war wagons, they're not the best at taking down buildings quickly, which is what you need when you're facing Malta, because they're going to put up a lot of crap, and you just have to be able to deal with it. Now making spies? What in the world is this game? I mean, it's actually going to be a pretty good choice because Bleary is now sending Black Riders. Gonna lose this final TP. Oh man, this would be so frustrating as Germany. It's just like, there's just units everywhere. And you feel like you just got to run your army around the map. But now these Black Riders, they're going to be very good at just running around and going to these trouble spots. And they're going to actually deal pretty well with these Sentinels. These Sentinels do now have veteran upgrades. And what is he doing? Oh, Bleary is now queuing up some Falconets, while Raincloud is sending the Sovereign Order of Malta. So he's going to be buffing those Sentinels even more, and he has 8 and 9 Sentinel in this deck. So we might be just seeing pure Sentinel spam here from Raincloud, which, if Bleary gets out a decent enough number of Falconets, that actually might be the wrong move. Meanwhile, a second town center going up for Malta here. Tons of depots just all over the map. And this is how you play Malta, right? You just slowly claim the map. You use these buildings to your advantage. You put up outposts, you put up depots, you put up commanderies wherever you can, and you just slowly hem your opponent in, right? Malta is not about winning in the first 8 minutes. You want to go win in the first 8 minutes, you go play Russia. But if you want to just play the long game of territory, Malta's your game. But look at this. Look at the artillery train coming out from Bleary. 5 Falconets on the field. And while that is very scary, it's got me very worried for his coin production. He's got 1 mine here. He's got a town center actually being besieged over here. He's got 1 mine here. So he's got 2 safe mines left. Which for Germany, that actually will not last as long as you might think. Meanwhile, Raincloud not even trying to protest this sieging of the commandery. And I think that's a smart play. He's keeping his veteran sentinels back here, but he needs to have some kind of answer, right? He can't just brute force 5 falconets down with sentinels. I don't care how many sentinels you have, it's just not going to work. Minutemen coming out now, going to try to save this town center, and, well, they might, but I think there's enough sentinels there that the Minutemen will go down. Another commandery is under siege. It is going to go down. Sentinels now coming in, gonna try to poke before the falconets arrive. We'll see what they can do. And the one thing about Bleary's army that does give Raincloud an advantage is it is pretty immobile, because now that you have to drag those falconets everywhere, it means that it's going to be slow going. But, oh my god, they're just insta-killing these buildings. Down goes the outpost. The church is next. Now, the German army is getting a bit spread out. This town center is going to go down, actually. So, even though his base is getting raided, Bleary continuing to do good work on the backside of the map. And now we're seeing a bit of a bad engagement here for Bleary, sending in his Uhlans without skirmisher or falconet support. That's just going to get them killed by those upgraded sentinels, because remember, these sentinels do have an extra card on them now as well. He has sent 8 sentinel, 9 sentinel, now sending Trip to Jerusalem, which is going to give him a nice boost of coin and wood, about 700 apiece. And look at this, he's just trying to pick off units, trying to stay out of the range of those falconets. But Bleary doing a good job keeping his Black Riders here. He doesn't want those falconets to be susceptible to any sort of cav pop, but I don't think that's what Raincloud's gonna do. He's got culverins queued up in the back. So while Bleary is doing a lot of nice damage here, I think Raincloud might have the answer. We also have to remember that Raincloud has full ownership of the TP line at this point, which is now producing resources. So that's a big economic advantage. It's 51 bills to 45 in favor of Raincloud, but now he's losing so much infrastructure. And look at this, he's just continuing to put up more in the back of his base. Another commandery, more houses, the artillery foundry, and the sentinels continuing not to engage until the moment of truth. And let's see if it works out for him. The German army is very scattered here, which has me a little bit worried, because they're not going to be able to put up a united force against these culverins. And look at that, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 culverins on the map. Villagers coming in for Raincloud, spit flying out of my mouth, and here we go. 1 falconet goes down, the Uhlans coming in, but the sentinels just going to insta-kill those Uhlans. Villagers coming in to block from the skirmishers, and Black Riders doing a nice job. Another falconet go down, that's 2. 1 is at very low health, 2 are at very low health. 2 more down. It is only 1 falconet left. A lot of the sentinels going down as well. Villagers dying. Still 3 culverins. More Uhlans coming in along with the Black Riders, but they're going to go down as well. The sentinels are now in melee mode. The last falconet is down, and they are going to chop down these skirmishers with their giant pole arms. What is this fight? I think Raincloud is going to take it. More sentinels reinforcing. Ladies and gentlemen, what a fight for Malta. Raincloud cleans up the mass from Germany, and that might be GG, because Bleary has sent all of his big cards. He has sent 9 Uhlan, 8 Uhlan, 9 Black Riders. He does have Jaegers and Pandours in his deck, but he does not have as much coin. He's running very, very low. He's got basically 1 safe mine at this point. He had enough to get 5 falconets out, but he has nothing to protect them from these culverins. And look at the sentinels that are starting to pour out from Malta. This is precisely where Malta wants to be. He owns a good portion of the map. He has 2 town centers. He's got 4 trading posts. Well, actually, he's down to 1 town center, but it doesn't matter anymore. 50 vills versus 49. So he's at a villager deficit, but he is at a military lead. The roles have been reversed, and now a fixed gun is coming out, and it is going to be set right down here. It is going to contest this town center. Oh, this is insane. 1 culverin is still alive, but those falconets should be able to brute force it down. And the falconets unpacking at the worst time. They could have gotten a really nice volley off on those sentinels. I don't know if that was luck or if that was skill from Raincloud, but I feel like my face is super red right now. I'm not going to look in the camera because I don't want to miss the action. Oh my, I can't breathe. That was such a good fight. More culverins coming out. Hopefully they don't get caught by these Ulans. And oh, Bleary, the one thing I'll criticize him for this game is his Ulan control has been very sloppy. He's been very good with his cannons, very good with his skirmishers, but he's gotten a lot of his Ulans killed. And not for much value. And here come 5 more Ulans. They're gonna try to barrel in, but these Sentinels are now so upgraded. They are just going to torch these Ulans. And now the fixed gun is in place, and look, it's parked right next to this German town center. And what do we see from Bleary Eyes? He's now shipping 12 Hessen Jaegers. I don't know if that's gonna be enough. I mean, Jaegers and Falconets, he's gonna call it. That's gonna be game. He decides he does not want to die the death by 1,000 cuts. And I think that was a smart play. He lost this town center and more depots starting to creep in. He's down to 1 coin mine, which has, 1,000 coin left in it. So what a game. Oh my God. I'm so glad that I just randomly decided to go on the Free Food Party website, because that was a game that cannot have been missed. Wow. I gotta follow Bleary Eyes and especially Raincloud more often. That was astounding. Let's look at it in more detail. Guys, follow me to the post game. All right, ladies and gentlemen, here we are in the post game, and we see a substantial resource lead for the Maltese. Raincloud having about 15,000 more resources at the end of the game. And I think we can contribute that to map control for sure, and those 4 TPs for most of the game, but also he had quite a few economic upgrades and then just more bills, though I do remember Bleary sending some economic cards as well. And then we go to the military count, very even for both players. 155 for Germany, 151 for Malta. But when we look at units killed, there we start to see the difference. 125 for Germany and 185 units killed for Malta. We see a substantial spam here from Raincloud. 116 out of the 151 were Sentinels. And I think maybe in the hands of a more skilled German player, that could have been really punished, that 1 unit spam. I think better control with the artillery and the skirms and just not getting so many of those Ulans killed. But it's easy for me to sit back here and criticize, right? I would have lost to Raincloud much harder than Bleary did. So no smoke. I'm just pointing out things, right? That's just what I do. But when we go to the timeline here, villager counts looking very, very even. Both guys did a nice job keeping their vills nice and as high as possible. Couple of dips for both of them in the mid and the late game, a couple of vill losses, but nothing substantial here. Both did a fairly decent job protecting their vills. We just saw that 1 coin mine raid that Raincloud was able to get on Bleary, and I think that was about it. But when we go to the military unit count, that's where it gets ugly for Germany. That fight in Raincloud's base, which was looking very, very good for Germany, all of a sudden got very, very ugly, and ending with 19 units. And it was just something that Germany couldn't recover from. He didn't have map control. He didn't have easy access to coin or hunts, and he had eaten up all of his good military cards. So just you know, there's no really good time to GG, but while I think that Bleary maybe could have held out a little bit longer, I certainly don't think his resign was unreasonable, right? I think he eventually would have gotten starved out, and being a pretty good level player, I think he realized that and just decided to pull the plug. But well done to both guys. This is one of the most entertaining games I've watched in a while, and it was all due to just by chance combing the Free Food Party website. So what a world we live in. Guys, I hope you enjoyed that game. Shout out to FFP and their amazing site full of awesome tools you can use. I am not sponsored, though I would be. And yeah, just go check them out. They're great. I'll put the link to their website in the description below. Make it easy for you. But guys, join me next week for another casted game. And until then, have a great day. Have a great life. See you later.